love me, but I don't believe a word from your mouth. That night they caught the fire, the rockets would explode. Well, my best friend says he knows you, and that you're a fucking hoe. So we walked down to the beachside to kill me and took my life. I went Santa Grandina in my teeth, and nothing ever tastes so right, Lord. Hell yeah, the next night and we went drinking, cause we surfed all goddamn day. And that night at the party, you know the ladies are off to stay. Well, I took that road to heaven, but somehow I came falling back down. If you're thinking you are taught to drink, it only gets passed around, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, my road to heaven, my road to heaven. What did you know? This is where I go. This is my road to heaven. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Lord, my road to heaven. Oh, my road to heaven.
Welcome to Interview with a Wolf, where we dive into the den, we dive into the Dow, the Wolves Dow. Today we are with Star Platinum, the thread writer, ambassador for Ronin Network, designs by Wiz Arts Studio, which you're gonna have to tell me about because it's new to me. And you are just building, constantly cooking. Good morning, dude. How are you doing, brother?
Man, doing amazing, Paul. So happy to be here. Thank you so much for letting me have this space with you. I think we're going to have some good conversations. Yeah, week has been amazing. Busy as fuck, but that's always a good sign. So yeah, man, doing amazing. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. And before we get started, there's a few housekeeping things that we always got to take care of. And one of them is a special gift that we did for you personally. And so every guest that comes on the show, what we do is we do some custom art. Um, Fractal Diva, project artist for pupils, goes through and she went through. She took some time and she just kind of went through your profile and she put together this background for you. You could see, there's some threads, there's a speaker, there's like a magnifying glass, there's like dirty laundry sitting there. So, dude, this background was created for you.
Oh yeah, this sick as fuck. I was wondering myself. I was like, okay, I fucking love that. I love the cap with your branding, the P
Yeah,
there. I was
yeah.
seeing some threads. Didn't know that, bro.
I got
Sick.
this. I got this too.
Oh
It was a birthday gift that one of my family members got me. So
man, that's sick as fuck. I like it.
always gotta drink some tea out of it during a live stream. Yeah, man. Dude, absolute pleasure having you here. It's been a little while. I mean, it has to have been probably about 6 months that we've been going back and forth, just trying to set up a phone call, trying to set up. But life gets busy, dude. We both get busy.
Mm.
But I wanted to. So the how I set up these live streams is I really am interested in like past, present, and future. I know it's nothing new.
Mhm.
It's Other people definitely have the same format, but I'm genuinely interested in gaming and music and just like content creation, especially in this phase of my own journey in all of that. So I wanted to get started by just kind of like rewinding a little bit and telling me a little bit about like you as a kid and like getting into gaming and your brothers and sisters and cousins and whatever else like inspired you as a kid. Can we dive into that?
Bro, I fucking love that. Okay, let's bring back some good memories. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think the first memory that I had when I was a kid, I remember, I think it was my fourth to five birthday. And the first game that I ever played, I mean, I have like different experience with gaming. I always loved games since I was a kid. I'm telling you, 4 to 5 years old. I remember at that time it was so popular. I mean, every kid at my school, we were so young, but we wanted like the Nintendo DS. It was so popular here. And my first gift, uh, my first console, my first game was Pokemon Emerald for my fifth birthday. That was the gift with the Nintendo DS. I remember the feeling like it was my first game, at least the one that I remember. First, I remember to choose between, if you play the game, there are three different Pokemons. I remember to choose Trico, which is the grass type one of that generation. I remember the whole night is one of the few things that I remember when I was a kid was that night, like coming back home after my birthday party, press the start button of the Nintendo DS and start playing the game. It was one of my best memories I ever had and my first experience, at least as I can remember, with games. I fell in love with World Pokemon Saga, so even today, when I have time, I still play some games. More hack rooms right now, not main games. I played the Switch one, but I didn't like it at all. But anytime that I can, I still playing some Pokemon games when I have time. Huge fan. I have here even my first starter from that generation.
Oh
It was
yeah.
interesting. I mean, I'm so attracted with this saga. Um, and yeah, after that, the second memory I have about me playing games is like I have an older brother. He has 12 years more than me. I have 25. He has now 37. I remember like he left the Nintendo 64 here at home. I remember playing Mario 64, Zelda, The Legend of Zelda, Mario
Mm.
as The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, the Golden Eye game. I played a lot that game. I mean, and it's curious that when I went to GDC this year with Wolves now, they have the Nintendo 64. I remember that we were playing Mario Kart, we were playing Golden Eye. I really it really brought me back some of these good memories. And yeah, these were like my first experience with gaming. And yeah, most part when I was a kid to teenager. When I was a teenager, I started playing Xbox and PlayStation. But I remember my full childhood playing Nintendo 64, Nintendo DS. We also it was so popular here that we won. Um, and yeah, that was my first experience.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, you mentioned Switch, and I've said this before to some other guests on the stream, but the
Mhm.
Switch has a really really cool emulator where you can pretty much download any game and. Oh, you there?
I'm there. I'm there.
Okay,
Here.
I think we briefly had a internet issue. We're all good though? Okay. Yeah, so, yeah, the Switch has emulators, and so you can actually download all like, a lot of the old games on, like, DS, NES, Super Nintendo. I mean, last summer, I went through pretty much all of the old school Zeldas, all of the old school Metroids. I'm not sure if you ever played Metroids, but man, it was a blast.
I know the saga. I know them for the papers that I have from Nintendo. I always check the saga, but I was into Pokemon, the Legend of Zelda. It wasn't my saga at all. Never played it.
Okay. Well, so I wanted to go into the next segment right here, and that is like how, like, your education, because I mean, and this is ultimately going to be leading into some of the other things that everybody witnesses you doing right now, which is basically like writing and doing it very very well. Were you formally educated in your like younger years? You know, I mean, did you go to college or anything like this for some of these talents that you have?
Yes, sir. I mean, I completed all my student career. I went to school, of course, high school, university here. And yeah, I think this really helped me to develop these writing skills. I mean, I always had that as a hobby. Even when I was in high school, I was always writing. I mean, I was like, I hate math, for example. I hate that. I hate that class. I mean, it was, I was so bad at it. So I remember to spend all the time math just writing things that came to my mind. I mean, most of them now that I'm thinking were from video games that I was playing at that time. I remember to write about. I mean, if I was playing FIFA, I was like writing what I should do, what could do to get better at it. Was writing like my own stuff there. I always have that knack for writing, but didn't take it serious when I was when I was a student because I never thought about myself as okay, I'm going to be a writer in the future, or I'm going to earn money through writing. That came with crypto after that, but yeah, overall, yeah, I think it really that was like part of the process. I guess like I had that hobby, and I was doing that during some class, so yeah, maybe it was the start point.
Well, so you brought up crypto, and I think this is a good time to put this topic in the board and pin it for 1 second about the writing, because we're definitely going to talk about that in a little bit. But about crypto, the thing that always interests me is the people's journey into crypto. Like, me personally, I got in back in like 2017, and just aimlessly wandered around for years, really not knowing. And I think I may have mentioned it to you on our call the other day. It's really, really tricky going into a new industry, not knowing anybody. So, can you tell me a little bit about your entry into crypto, and then how did you navigate in your first years?
Of course, I mean it's kind of fun. I mean, I entered in crypto in 2021. That was the year that I finished my student career. I started to get my first in real life job that summer. It was summer of 2021, and it was almost the peak of the last bull run. So I remember here where I live, everyone was talking about crypto. News were talking about crypto. Creators were talking about crypto. Everyone was talking about crypto. So I was like 21 years old, my first money income that I ever had in my life. It was not too much, but it was like okay, I'm having more money than ever in my life because I never had money before. Um, I started to get interested into it through a YouTuber that we have here from Spain, by the way. Um, I was a Spanish YouTuber that we have here. He's even active today. That really surprises me. Shout out to him. Healthy Pocket is calling. Um, I was watching videos through TikTok, YouTube also. And I checked this guy, and this guy, that's what's crazy, but this guy was talking about money opportunities, tokens that you need to buy. If you buy these tokens, you're going to earn money in the future, I'm sure. And one of these tokens was Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu, I had no fucking idea what Shiba Inu was. I didn't even know that meme coins exist. Excuse me, was the phone.
No problem.
Um, and yeah, I was checking that video. I was watching it. I was like, okay, I will buy this coin. I will buy Shiba Inu. I create my Binance account because it was the only application that these crypto creators were talking about. At least here in Spain, it was popular at that time. I remember that it was like top three trending at that moment, that year. Then we know what happened. But but yeah, and I bought Shiba Inu with 100 euros, which is not too much. I remember like 2 to 3 weeks after, it made 14x that summer. I was like, no way, what the hell is this? What the hell is this crypto thing? Because I put 100 euros here and now I have 1.44k euros. This is crazy. What the fuck is this? Yeah, I then I start to put more money. I exchanged some of these Shiba Inu profits into more altcoins that were booming at that time. Almost zero research. I mean, I was looking and watching videos. I was watching altcoins at the time, but I didn't know that I was buying the absolutely top. I mean, I bought Cardano, for example, at $2. I mean, Even today, with all the run that we have during this year, Cardano is not even close to $2 anyway.
Uh,
And yeah, these were like my first months. I started to getting more into the rabbit hole that crypto is. Start with buying some of these altcoins, and then I discovered NFTs again through Spanish creators. One of these creators was launching a collection on Solana. This was around February of 2022. I was like, hey, yeah, let's try this NFT thing. I mean, at that moment, Bored Apes, CryptoPunks were really booming. So I started to get some idea. And yeah, I minted that collection, started buying some NFTs in Solana, start to join communities because at that moment it's different. I think this is something that I really still liking about NFTs, and this is the communities that they have. It's different from a token community because I was buying Cardano, for example, and I couldn't join a Cardano community. Yeah, you can join the TG, the Telegram, but it's not the same. That being in the Discord, being in voice chats with the boys, I mean, it's so different. Um,
did
and
you
yeah,
real quick? So Cardano, did you try out Sunday swap when it launched back in the day? Were you into Sunday swap? Dude, I got rugged so hard with that, dude. I lost thousands of dollars on that. Man, I'm jaded by that. But anyway, go ahead, continue.
yeah, it's curious because this month that I was starting and talking again, we had some months back. I joined crypto summer 2021. The rest of the year, I started also to make content with my main account. I mean, my main account at that time, it was the account that I always had on X. It was the account that I was using in high school. I was posting there just random teenager stuff. And at some point, I started to post crypto there in Spanish, of course. Some friends even started to point at me. I'm like, bro, what the hell are you doing? I was like, bro, I'm just vibing around. I just want to participate in some giveaways. I just want to make some content. Let's see, maybe I can build something here. It didn't work out. I tried this for like 4 to 5 months, and it was in March of 2022 when I created Star Platinum, the account that I still have today. And that was also part of the journey. Yeah, I spent all 2022 trading NFTs, having these altcoins that I bought at all pico top of the last cycle. So I was watching how my backs were down. I mean, I even had some Luna at some point. Yeah, we know that happened in May of that year. That Luna just rugged. um,
I
and
think
yeah,
everybody got burnt by that one. That was terrible.
that was scary as fuck, man. I mean,
Man,
it's crazy.
so I wanted to ask you. So you brought up your name, and so you created the name. You thought of the name back in 2022, and I want to know. So people probably or maybe ask you. I don't know if they do, but I'm curious about it. Where did you come up with the name Star Platinum, and why does it like why did it stick?
Oh man, it was my name in PlayStation when I was playing PlayStation. I was also I was League of Legends Wild Rift, the version of the mobile. I was pro player. I mean, I tried. I tried to be pro player. I was on a team when the game started. I mean, me and some friends started to play the game way early, so we scaled so fast in the ranks because we already have experience in League of Legends, in other games like Arena of Battle, which is in mobile too, kind of similar to League of Legends. I have that name as my nickname. And who is Star Platinum? Star Platinum is a character of an anime show called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and it's like the power of one of the protagonists of the anime. So yeah, I mean, I was a huge fan, and back in 2017. So I was like, okay, we changed my PlayStation name into this one. I will also have this name in League of Legends. So when I started here with the news account, I was like, hell yeah, we put my nickname as always. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. So everybody kind of like I think probably that might be the same story with a lot of people where they have their gamer tags back in the day that they had on Xbox Live or PlayStation Network or whatever it is, and then they just kind of like because they're known that way, and so they just kind of like continue. Here's a little bit of lore about me. So I absolutely loved playing Gears of War, and that's one thing that me and Peyton actually related to heavily when we started talking was because he's a big Gears of War fan too. And I love sniping. I absolutely love sniping. And so,
Mm.
like any game, I just pick up the sniper. And so, my original name was Splitting Skulls. That's what Splitting
Mm.
Skulls was my name. And
I
then I
like
ended
it.
up just removing skulls, and I went by Splitting for years. And then my other alt account was PD Craft, which is just my initials, and my youngest son ended up taking that, so he's actually known as my alt account online, like, and he's really good at gaming. But you mentioned NFTs. That was something that you got into heavily back in 2022. I can relate to that. I'm sure everybody freaking lost their ass on that back then.
Mm.
But the one that you decided to identify yourself with, I believe that's a persona journey. That's something that really that this persona NFT, it really stands out. It really does. It's a little bit different than the other NFTs that I mean, because it's like it's anime a little bit, but then again, they have a little bit of a different pose where they're three-quarter view one way with their body, and then they're looking the other way, and it's just like a really original pose that I think is catchy. What made you identify so much with Persona Journey to be your identifying PFP in the space?
I mean, it was anime. I mean, I'm a huge fan of anime. The reason that I also choose this PFP is because it has a Dragon Ball Z trait. And it's a cool history because the day I bought this NFT, I was at Token Singapore at Persona event. I was like, okay, I want to make something cool with this event, and I went to one of the team members. I was like, okay, I will buy a Persona NFT right now. You will choose which one should I buy. Please make it with a Dragon Ball Z trade. And we were looking at the floor ones. We scroll a bit, and we found this one that year. Um, and yeah, we just bought it. It was some FOMO into the band. We have even a record of that. I even posted it back in the day. And yeah, the reason that I really like this one, which also almost a year after, I'm still using it, and I don't have any plans, at least in short midterm, to change it. And it's because Dragon Ball Z. I mean, I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of Dragon Ball Z. I mean, I have a lot of Funkos over here. It's my favorite anime. I think I was watching this show when I was 4 years old, since the moment I have memory. So it was a knack. I mean, it was okay. I like the brand. I like the team. I mean, I won't put myself as a brand a project that I don't vibe with. I mean, they are still building even today, and yeah, I just want to stick with the brand because now I really feel personal. Like when you change your PFP first days, it's kind of weird. You need to figure out. Now I feel I have I have spent like 9 months with this PFP already, so it's part of my history now.
So networking, you mentioned a couple different places you've went to, recently being GDC in San Francisco. You mentioned Token Singapore. I believe that was last September, maybe. So Token Singapore. But how important do you feel networking has been for your journey in Web3?
Hmm. I think it was really important. Um, I always I even today consider that I kinda suck at networking. Like I still figuring out this one of the things that I really want to improve. That's why I also started to show my face even more last year. I want to keep doubling down on it. And I think networking was very impactful these last months than in my work career because it was a process. When I started here, I was just trading, joining NFT communities. I was always behind the PFP. I was joining voice chats. I was interacting with people during my first years, but I never took network as something really important for me. But it was in 2023. That was the year that I also quit my real life job to be full time crypto, to took the shot and try to be a full time creator. And also at that time, I was having a job in Web3 and I was social media manager for a project on Polygon called it Comet Burst. It was a launchpad, NFT launchpad, token launchpad. After, I think now they are not doing well because Polygon conditions, after all. But that job, for example, came because a friend vouched for me for that job. So that was one of the experiences that I remember. Like, okay, networking really took me to this step because maybe I wouldn't be there if I didn't have that job in Web3 that allowed me to also like, okay, I can take this risk, the quitting my real life job, that I could be secure, I could still working, but that year was crazy. I mean, I was working real life, I was having the other job, I was making content. It was so hard to keep on track with everything, so I needed to take that shoot. I wanted to be a creator. That was my dream. It's still my dream. And yeah, I took that shoot, and it was probably with that networking that I had before. And today I'm still trying to improving it. I think it's key. I mean, I know this is a common quote that we have in the space, but your network is your net worth. You need to know people. You need to get know also in the space. So now I'm still trying to improve that. But yeah, the experience has been so good so far. I mean, if I went to Token Singapore, it's because my network too. Because at that moment I was working with a company, I was helping them with marketing, and that job came to me thanks to a friend that bought it for me. So it's like it's always a game, and network is a huge part of the game. So it's so important.
So with networking,
Mhm.
I've personally, as I mentioned before, I kind of got into the crypto space the same way you did, watching YouTube and stuff like that. And a lot of the tokens that have already been like pumped or and dumped back in the day, at least, were introduced to people on YouTube. And I really didn't get into crypto Twitter until probably like 2021, 2022. Um, what was your biggest, I guess I'm not sure if you would necessarily call it a regret, because I truly do think that everything learned shouldn't be a regret. It should just be something you learn and you just move forward with. But were there anybody that you like basically thought, and you don't need to name any names, but was there anybody that you thought was the right path or the right people to network with, which ultimately kind of like set you back? Or have you been pretty cautious about who you've been networking with in order to progress your personal brand throughout the years?
Hmm. Yeah, this is a really good question. And yeah, I had case like I really, I mean, as you say, I don't really regret at all because I took the lesson with them, so I learned. It was part of the process. Now I am better. But yeah, I mean, this came through 2023. That moment, I was really active on Polygon. I was writing. That was the moment that I really started to get some really interest into writing threads. I really put the effort. So that was the year that I really started making threads. Um, and yeah, at that time, I mean, has I was one of the few creators that were talking about Polygon NFTs. I made a lot of network. I made a lot of connections, mostly into the NFTs because that was my topic. I mean, I was the guy who was writing threads about Polygon NFTs. So I really was having a really good network between myself, NFT founders of that time. And yeah, sadly, some of those collections did some slow rocks. They minted out, they couldn't figure out how to keep scaling the business, because it was really hard. It was really hard because market on Polygon never took off. We had some good moments at the beginning because Frank Digos was migrating Jutes to Polygon, so you could find some hype, but it was a narrative that never took off, or maybe it was too short to really took off. And yeah, most of these phones were launching, thinking that okay, maybe this is the place so where we could launch a successful NFT project and survive here, but it's so hard. It's the same case as we see with token launches, the same case we see with the startups more into Web 2. 98% of the projects, sadly, 99% of the startups are not successful. It's part of the process too. And yeah, I participate with them. I have a lot of jobs with this kind of projects. Like I just wanted to be part of something. Like okay, I really like your project. I like the art. I was talking with the founder. I like you. I like your vision. I was like moderator, collab manager, community manager, mostly community manager. Um, and yeah, I regret to participate in some of these projects because I was spending a lot of time, and at the end, you find yourself having problems to get paid because they don't have money or because they mismanage the funds. It was hard, but it was part of the process. And yeah, now I'm trying to be quite selective with my network too. I mean, I'm an open guy. I just love to connect with people. I love to talk with people. I love to hop into calls. If my schedule allows me, or if myself allows me, because I spend most of my time making content or doing random themes. So I need to figure out, I need to fix that. But yeah, I mean, I'm an open guy and I love to connect with people. I love to meet new people, more than open to that. But I really selective with the projects I work with, because now I also understand that it's not the same. Back in 2023, I was having like 3K followers. Now I have 50K.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so different. Now I have a big audience. I could hurt people if I do some wrong calls. I don't do calls, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I could, my reputation is now more in the line. I mean, if
No,
I do
I
a
totally
mistake,
understand. Yeah, no, I totally understand. A moment ago, you mentioned survival. You know, that right there has been a big part of my life. Just I think everybody's life, surviving and thriving, not just in crypto, but just we're getting about to the middle, the top, the middle of the of this live stream, and this is kind of like the heat. Some of the some of the things that I like the segment that we're getting into right now is maybe something that nobody really knows about you. And I actually asked you before, like backstage before we started, I said, dude, like, is there anything off limits? And you go, no, I'm good. So I got to ask you, bro. Okay. Like for me personally, I'll give you an example. Okay. And I may have already told you about this, but dude, I've went through some serious um, hardships where I like lost my freedom. I had to like serve time like just for stupid stuff back when I was a kid. Okay. It was just stealing beer and they threw me in freaking jail for like 6 months for it, bro. Okay. And then building myself over the years from like 20 to 40 and building a fortune and losing it all by putting it all into crypto stupidly. Okay. And then losing my family from it. But then throughout the thing, throughout this whole process, instead of letting myself fall down, okay, and like dwell over past mistakes, keep on pushing through, right? And using like art and music as a form of therapy to really push myself past some of that pain. So I got to ask you, dude, you talked about survival, okay? And you're all about storytelling. And that's one of the things that I really dig about your content because you have this certain format of storytelling. But dude, I got to ask you, man, like has there been anything really super painful that's happened to you in your life, like anything at all, to motivate you down this journey of storytelling?
Hmm. Yeah, I have some histories. Most of these things happening when I was at high school. I was around 16, 17, 18, 20 until 21. I mean, it's curious because the same year that I went to crypto, it was the same year that I started to get my first real life job. It was like the moment that my life really started to, okay, getting on track. But okay, I will tell you, I'm from a small village here. I made some. I mean, I was living before in other villages, kind of close to where I live now, but I was in other school, so I moved to a new school uh, for the high school. I made some friends. They even today are my friends now. But we have a problem here. We have a problem that drugs are common here where we live. Um, yeah, when we were in high school, when we were teenagers, most of my friends had drug problems. So I never touched that because I think it's something that even scares me in some way. I mean, I'm a big dude, but this thing scares me. I don't want to try it. And yeah, I mean, I have many problems with this toxic group of friends. I lost some friends due to that. I mean, one of my friends, I don't know if I can say this. There's some bad thing, but he just, I mean, he killed himself when we were 21 because he had drug problems. He had depression. He wasn't that good. We couldn't help him. It was hard. It was a really tough moment for the whole group of friends. And even today, some of my friends are still having problems with this. I mean, I have tried many times during all these years to help them, to bring them help, calling service to help them, giving them money on my own now that I'm in crypto to help them. But I also think that you need to change by yourself. There's one point that you are not going to fix uh, someone if he doesn't want to be fixed. So yeah, I mean, I grew up into from a kid to a adult, I am to a man. Through all of this during this process, I mean, I was a happy kid. I mean, I was always a happy kid. But yeah, I remember these years like okay, it was kind of hard because at the beginning it was fun. I mean, they were having fun. I was having fun with them. I mean, I never touched that, but I was drinking with them. For example, we were hanging out. Were these were good years, but at some point it started to make like a snowball effect. These last years when we were 2021, it was the breakup moment. Then we had the accident. I was like, okay, I need to go outside of this. You still my friends. I won't let you down, guys. But I need to go my way. I mean, I need to part ways with this. I can't have this life. I want something better for me, my family, my girlfriend too. I don't want this life. I will try to do my thing. And this is something that even today keeps motivating me. Like I was, I mean, at that point, I didn't have a purpose in my life. Like I was with them. I just wanted to have fun. Never have a purpose. Like okay, I want to be a. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a doctor, for example. But at some point, I was like, I don't know what to do with my life. And I started working that year with my first job. The first months I was like, I don't like this. I mean, I don't see myself working all the years that left in my life into this job. I don't want this, but I don't know how to fix it. I already made my S2 journey. I already did my job into this, so maybe this is the life that it comes to me. But I'm glad that I took this decision to took the risk with crypto to be a creator. I always wanted to be a creator. This was also a problem that I had when I was in high school because I tried to have a YouTube channel. And I remember that
Mm,
people was lauding at me because
mm,
that I mean I can understand that, gotta say, because you were a 14 years old guy shouting at a camera, I mean screaming for everything. I
yeah,
was like
yeah.
a rat boy. I mean I was playing Minecraft for that time, so I can kind of understand. But I remember people lauding at me at the high school with those videos, and I was like, okay, this is not my thing. I always had that dream to be a creator, but this is not my dream. I mean, this is not for me. Now I have a second opportunity thanks to crypto. So here we
Mhm.
are. But yeah,
Yeah.
this was like the process that I had in my life that were more darker from the
Yeah,
rest.
no, that's there's a really, really valuable lesson in that, and it's, like what you said before, your network is your net worth, and that really goes to IRL, if you wanna call it that
Yeah.
too, who you surround yourself with, and the hard choices that you have to make. You mentioned that some of these friends that you chose to be around, right? That may have chose some paths that you weren't too comfortable with, but you love them, dude. They're your bros. You know what I mean? It's not like you can just like leave them, like just kind of like let them go. It's hard to do, but the lesson in that is that sometimes it's almost better to separate yourself from that bunch, and that's what I've had to do. And because some of the times, dude, those it's like, dude, that could really like drag you down and keep you down. Has that been a challenge for you having, and I'm not necessarily saying that these friends are bad, but the friends in which you kept back then, has it gotten a little bit in the way of your path becoming a creator? Like, has it held you back at all? Have you found it to hold you back?
I think, um, yeah, it held me back at least the first years because it was hard as fuck. You say, I mean, it was a process. It was a slow process because they were my friends for all my high school years. It was hard. We spent a lot of summers together, a lot of afternoons just hanging around, smoking for the city, smoking cigarettes. Um, I would spend a lot of time together, a lot of years. I was hard. The first years were really hard because we also live in the same villas. So you were like, bro, we know that you are here. Why are you not coming to this party with us? We know that you are at home. Why are not you coming with us? Or why are you hanging around with other friends? Why are you not with us? I was like, you need to understand that. But they couldn't understand. They thought at that moment that their lives were correct at that life. They were doing good for them, or I was the rare guy to want to separate. I wasn't a good friend, or no. I mean, I fucking love you guys, but I
Mhm.
can't do this. I don't want this. This is not the life that I really want for me. So yeah, it was hard. I think this was also a process that maybe hold me down for the first 1 to 2 years, but then I was like, fuck off. I will do my own. I will take the risk.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
need to do it, so I will do it.
So yesterday, I was inspired, and I am inspired quite a bit about what you do. Okay, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying that because I'm glazing you by any means. I'm just saying facts, bro. Okay, just facts. But I wrote something yesterday, and I felt it was just like at first I didn't want to post it. I really didn't, but after I did it, and it's so weird how like some of the things that you think, man, I don't want to post this content, it actually gets more traction than the things that you think, oh, just it's just like so easy to post something else. So um, I'm on this content creation journey, of course, and I run into people like you, okay, who are half my age. Like literally, I'm 46, you're 24. Like you're pretty much half my age. I have a son that's 19 years old, dude. Okay. So, but the thing is, man, the post that I posted last night while I was sitting at the hookah bar, I was like literally at the hookah bar, and I thought of this. I'm like, some of the people that I've met and that I've come across in this space are half my age, but they've been some of the most impactful mentors that I've learned from. Okay. And that post actually got a lot more traction. Not like I'm not saying like the kind of traction that you get, but I will say more traction than I'm used to.
Mhm.
So going back to my original point, do you ever find when you're writing your posts, okay, when you're compiling all your content and stuff like that, that some of the like it's almost like do you ever is it hard for you to post some of your content, or has it ever been hard for you to post some of your content, or is it just kind of like business as usual?
I was hard the first years because I was like, and it's crazy because now more people is watching me, reading the stuff that I made. Now it's like, fuck off, I will do it. I mean, I always try to like, okay, I have some rules for myself. Like, I don't shield meme coins. I will never do that. If I shield a meme coin in my profile, that's not me. That's not me. There is no way I will shield a meme coin. There's no way. I mean, I can talk that, okay, I'm trading meme coins, but I won't tell you to buy this sticker. I mean, I trade meme coins. This is what I learned. So you can know more about my experience. For example, I have this kind of rules. And this is something that I think always. I mean, I try always to be gray with my histories because sometimes I write about people that is doing shady things.
Mhm.
They are not doing good well to the space. But I always try to have this gray approach, like it's not white or black. I mean, I'm trying to not be that harsh. Also, like I always try to
Yeah,
be
it's kinda
gray.
like you're trying to take the unbiased, just putting the facts out there for people to make the decide to make the decision for themselves.
Hmm.
You're not
Exactly.
leaning one way or the other. I think that's the best way to do it. And that kind
100%.
of since you brought it up, some of this content that you put out, and I've noticed that a lot of your content as of late has been kind of like detective work, which is really cool and it's gained a lot of traction. I mean, for instance, like yesterday you put out that one that one post about like, here's why showing your identity or being doxxed may be kind of a little risky. But that one almost had like it's like 800K.
Yes.
800K. That had a huge amount of interactions. So like what type of message do you have for the people watching right now? Like obviously building a personal brand is a huge topic in the space right now. But do you have any sort of insight, any sort of alpha, any sort of tips that you can give any of our 37 viewers, by the way, what's up? That they
Go,
may benefit from?
bro. I think the best advice that I could ever say to them is like enjoy the journey. I mean, the journey is long. The journey is going to be hard. When you are starting, doesn't matter. I mean, when you are starting making content, no matter the platform. I mean, I'm also feeling this feeling again because I'm starting on TikTok and YouTube. It's hard because you, for example, spend a lot of time making a piece of content, making a thread, making a post, and you say that, okay, this post is going to be a banger. But when you are starting, no one is following you. So no one knows about you. So most probably you will get 3 likes, 50 views in that post that took you 5 hours to do. And it's frustrating. It really is. Um, but you need to enjoy the process. This creator journey is one of the most fruitful things that you can ever have in your life. No matter if you want to be a founder, no matter if you want to be a collab manager, community manager, even if you want to be, I don't know, a baker. Let's talk about real life job. I mean, let's go talk that you want to be a baker. Make content, make a personal brand. It's going to help you. It's going to put you in the map. It's going to give you recognizing. It's going to give you network. It's going to give you everything. I mean, makes life way easier. And you just need to be yourself in front of a camera, behind a screen, just writing, but be yourself. Um, you need to enjoy it because you are going to have ups and downs. I even have those. I remember 2 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, we start to lose some hype into crypto. My content is more into what's trending in crypto, what's happening in the space. So when we have less things happening, it's hard to me to make content. It is what it is. I try always to have ideas. I always have ideas notes, but it's hard sometimes. And when less people is interested in crypto, you can also feel it with your content because less people is interested in crypto, less people is searching about crypto. It's harder to go viral. So you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have days like you will feel like you are Goth and you are the best creator over here, and you are going to have days that you will feel like, why I'm doing this? I'm not getting what I deserve. It's so hard, but you need to keep pushing. The best way is enjoy it. Find the type of content that really that you really enjoy to make. If you are comfortable making videos, if you love videos, do videos. If you love writing, do writing, but find that niche. Try everything when you are starting. Find what you really like and start experimenting into that. Start writing about things, anything that comes to your mind. Try everything, absolutely everything. Once
Banger.
you find something that is working, double down on it.
Banger. That right there was an absolute banger.
Thank you.
We're going into the last 8 or 9 minutes of the show, and I would be absolutely it would be a big fail if I didn't mention something, and that is the Wolves DAO. Okay, it's a community that is absolutely just something that I'm extremely just I was recently introduced to them, but there's so much insight, so much alpha, and it's just like the community is extremely I'm at a loss for words because I just absolutely am in I'm kind of like starstruck by the Wolves DAO in general. Okay. Um tell me about your journey into the Wolves DAO.
Man, I mean, it's kind of short, but so emotional for me also because I think I started to be part of Wolves now back in January of this year, and I went to an event with them. I mean, I lived with them. We were living in the same house. I was sharing room with Matt Davis, it's Vault. We were roommates. I mean, they're part of Vault. If they anything they see this, love you guys for real. Um, Bro, I mean, I first of all, I really respect the green that Peyton, Sam, Icy have do for the space. Day by day, they are pushing gaming like no one is doing that because it's easier to push a narrative when everything is going up into this narrative, when are pumping, when all the KOS in the space are now interesting, but it's so hard to push a narrative when no one is looking at it. When all the people that is talking about narrative is talking about the bad things that are happening, teams that are not delivering, tokens that are failing. This happens in the space. These guys have been pushing this for real. They have been creating creators. They have weekly space, or they have gamified. They have the downtown space that they have in Discord. It's insane what they are doing for the space, and I really respect the green because they're doing this just for the sake of gaming, the sake of pushing this narrative because they really believe that gaming and crypto makes a lot of sense, and they are here to fight for us. Um, and yeah, the experience that I have with these 6 to 7 days that I spent with them was probably one of my favorite experience that I ever had in crypto. I mean, I could really feel how it is to be part of Wolves now. I really advise you, if you have the opportunity to go to GDC next year, whenever they have another house, bro, you need to go there. I mean, you will really
I'm
feel.
already planning on it. I watched from the sidelines this past year, and I never really knew that there was a Wolf's Den type of event that happens at GDC. So
Mm.
I was pleasantly surprised to watch all the content. And as soon as Sinjin, and I said this before, but I got to say it again, as soon as I saw Sinjin cooking up the Korean barbecue at the house and the freaking like 4 a.m. chicken fried rice, I started FOMOing. I'm like, I'm going next year. I got to try some of that. I'm a big foodie. But yeah, man, Wolf Stout is, I'm fortunate enough to actually be have been invited into the DAO. So me and you are fellow wolves now, and man, dude, I'm super stoked about that.
Bro, I mean, probably one of the best groups that I ever had. I mean, I really wish I was more active in Discord because I fucking love all the guys that are there. I mean, shout out to Sinjin for that barbecue because it was my first day there. I mean, I came to the balls then that day, and it was the day that Sinjin's barbecue. I mean, you really need to go there next year. So I hope to go too, so we can also meet in real life.
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. Well, I tell you what, man, it has been an absolute pleasure. But before we go, I wanted to ask you if you have anything that you wanted to, and I know for you, it's not even about shilling because you're a content creator, and it's not like you're really working on anything, but really just like your personal brand and providing value through doing almost like detective research and bringing light to a lot of the stories that people may not know the backstory on, which is extremely interesting. And I'm always reading your content. But is there anything that you'd like to share about anything you're working on right now, or anything you're cooking?
If I can share something, just if you really like what I do on X, you're following my profile. If you like the stories that I write, if you like my content, give it a try to my other socials, TikTok and YouTube. You can find the YouTube link in my account. It's pinned there. So yeah, give it a try. I will try to push these stories also in video format. I'm starting this week. Let's see how it goes. And yeah, if you like my job, I'm sure that you all we also love to see these histories. It's really interesting that we have in crypto also in video format. So give it a try.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I didn't know you had a YouTube channel until right now, so I'm gonna definitely be on there because I'm on YouTube all the time looking for new stuff. So
Give it a
I'm
try.
down. I'm
Give it a
I'm
try,
down.
man.
I'm already going to. So yeah, but
Love
dude,
it.
thank you so much for coming today, man. It really means a lot. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I sure did.
Thank you so much, sir.
All
It
right,
was a
to
pleasure.
everybody, to our 40 viewers, I'm Paul. This is Star Platinum. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Lord, well, I took down run to heaven, but somehow I came and falling back down. Well, that night on the beach, you said you love me, but I don't believe a word from your mouth. That night they caught the fire, the rockets would explode. Well, my best friend says he knows you, and then you're a fucking hoe. So we walked down to the beachside to kill and nearly took my life. I will stand and grind in my teeth, and nothing ever tastes so right, Lord. Hell yeah, the next night down we went drinking, cause we surfed all goddamn day. And that night at the party, the ladies are out to stay. Well, I took down run to heaven, but somehow I came and falling back down. If you're thinking you are taught to drink, it only gets passed around, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, my road to heaven, my road to heaven. What did you know? This is where I go. This is my